Um, Hi, friends. Sorry for being a little late. And I would like to thank Wonder Woman and Arpana for inviting me again uh, on this platform to speak about Ganesh Chaturthi and its relevance as well as importance. So earlier I had spoken about Shiva on this platform. So I'd like to just start by introducing myself. I'm an astrologer, and also I've learned Vedic chanting. I have my YouTube channel. I'm currently working on my second book. I also write for platforms like Medium. I have an NGO for underprivileged children where we support them in their endeavor to study. And we also try and make underprivileged women independent by training them in various fields like stitching and also in parlor work. So let's start with not too much delay about who's Ganpati. So Ganpati, the first mention of him is in our Rig Vedas, and he's mentioned. So, but today, if we think of Ganpati, who do we think of? We think of this cute, cuddly god who's has is happy-go-lucky, has a big fat belly, has this little modak in his hand, and he loves the food. He sits on this tiny little mouse. But in the Vedas, he is probably not the similar Ganpati that we see today. He's more referred to as the supreme consciousness, someone who is Anadi and Anant, someone who um, is has no beginning, no end, who's Nirakar, without a Swaroop. He is the supreme consciousness, that the Brahmadi Ganpati, and he's also referred to as the Gana Nampati, which means that he is the leader. So leaders of the Ganas of any kind of group. Ganas are also the Ganas of Shiv, like Veerbhadra, Nandi, they all Shiv Ganas. You could consider him the Ganas of Shiv Ganas, or basically any group of people. So all living beings. It could be the the gods, the planets, the nakshatras, the devtas, the humans. So that's why he's referred to as Ganpati or Ganoka Pati. And one very interesting fact that I'll share with you is that he was prayed to in his own parents' wedding. So Shivji and Parvati ji's wedding. So how did that happen? That's because this Brahma Swaroop of Ganpati mentioned in the Vedas was the one that they prayed to remove all obstacles. And this Swaroop of Ganpati, Parvati ji prayed to and invoked him to be born as her son. So that's how he was prayed to in their wedding. Now, if we see Ganpati as we see him today, this Swaroop came up first time 1500 years ago in Ganesh Puran, and also a little in the Upanishads. Vedas are around 4000 years old, Puranas are around 1500 years old. So in Ganesh Puran, there's a mention of Parvati ji's birth after she jumped into the fire, Yagya fire as Sati, then her rebirth as Parvati, her penance to marry Shiv, then her marriage to Shiv, Kartikeya's birth, and finally Ganesha's birth. So all of this is mentioned in Ganesh Puran, and the Ganesh we see today is mentioned there. So Ganesh, if is a Yonija, means he was not born from a Yoni. So the story goes that Parvati ji, maybe a lot of you all already know this story, is that Parvati ji went to Shiva and she said she wanted a child. And Shiv, as we all know him, is the Aghori, someone who likes to introspect, who likes to meditate, who does not want attachments. In fact, his marriage is almost like a conspiracy of the Devtas, They kind of just cornered him to marry Parvati. Because first of all, of course, he's meant to marry Parvati since she was Sati in her earlier life. and secondly also so that his knowledge can be used for the benefit of others. So his knowledge, which he has so much knowledge within him in every field, he could be brought down from Kailash to Kashi, and people could benefit from him. So uh, how to and also to connect him to the universe. So once Shiv refuses point blank to Parvati that I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in having a child. Parvati ji says that that's fine. I'm Prakriti and I'm capable of reproducing myself. I don't need a Nayak. And that's why probably Ganpati is also mentioned. Another name of him is Vinayak, that is someone without a Nayak. So he was born without Shiv, without a Nayak. So how did he come about? So she, before her bath, applied her body scrub like we all do, and it was like an uptan made from the traditional style uptan made from haldi and besan and milk and all the goodies that are good for the skin. And then this uptan she applied on her body, she removed the dirt, and she made a little doll boy, and she did pran pratishtha. So what is pran pratishtha? She basically put life or pran vayu into that doll and made him into Ganesha. Ganesha was then asked to guide her chambers, and she went away. Shiv Ganas came, Shiv came, he fought all of them, and of course he was so powerful because after all he was born from the powers of his mother. But Shiv eventually manages to cut his head off. This upsets Parvati, so Shiv sends his Ganas off on a mission, and he tells them that just get me the first head of anything that you see living. They find Indra's white elephant Ravat, cut off his head, and they bring it to Shiva. Shiva then places it on Ganpati's body and puts the pran vayu. So Shiv is also connected to pran vayu, to life in the Vedas as Rudra. And basically, if you see, our body is everything to do with the breath we take. If there's no breath, we are not there. The body is lifeless. And Ganpati comes into life again with the elephant head, and he's made the Pratham Puja. Also, this was Shivji's contribution to his birth, so he became his father. So I find this story very interesting in many ways, especially the symbolic ways of being Vinayak, someone without a Nayak, and being a Yonija, someone who's born without a Yoni. So now let's talk about the symbolism connected to Ganpati. Some very interesting symbols are connected to Ganpati's being. So Ganpati, as we all know, is a remover of obstacles. And no matter what work we do, it could be something as simple as going to school, starting a new work, laying the foundation of a house, laying the foundation of a new factory. It could be anything. We want all our work to go smoothly. We don't want any obstacles, we don't want any confusions, any complications happening. So who do we pray to? We pray to Ganpati. So let's see how he became the Vigna Harta, or someone who removes obstacles. So there's one more thing here, that we see a big fat Ganpati sitting on this little tiny mouse, and we wonder, oh my god, poor mouse. So that part is also connected to this. So India being an agricultural society, rodents were the biggest menace because they would ruin the crop. And so Ganpati being made to ride the mouse itself, it's controlling him. So he doesn't eat the grains, he doesn't spoil, so he becomes a Vignaharta. So it's like a symbolism of him being the remover of obstacles, controlling all the problems, because mouse is a symbol of problems for the agricultural society. So that's how we have our Vignaharta. Then we see that he's a perfect amalgamation in every way of Lakshmi with Saraswati. So his big elephant head, elephants have a huge big memory, so Saraswati. And elephants are animals which are very expensive to maintain. They're usually linked with royalty because royalty loved, riding elephants. It was grand. It's, elephant is a powerful animal. It's big, and so it's connected to power and wealth and prosperity, because only if you're prosperous can you have an elephant as a pet. So again, Lakshmi with Saraswati. Then we see his big fat belly. He's pot-bellied, which usually Kuber, the keeper of wealth, has. Or otherwise, you will see, Kuber, of course, the keeper of wealth, and then you see this trader. You think of the picture of a trader sitting on his seat, happily counting his money. So this is again Lakshmi. And then even the Brahman, who's a Vedpati, who's intelligent, who's always reading the scriptures. Even he loves his food and he loves sweets, and so he has this big fat belly. So again, Brahman with the trader, again Lakshmi with Saraswati. Then let's see the things that he holds in his hand, in his forehand. So he has a pash, which is a rope which joins things or connects things, or you can even say connects dots. Then he has an axe called the parsa. Now parsa helps in breaking things. So you can also say it's symbolic of breaking problems into solutions. So one breaks and one joins. So it's like a connection between the two opposites. Then he has a snake for a belt, and this snake is the predator who can eat the prey mouse. But they live in harmony with each other and do not destroy each other. So that again is a very important thought of existing in harmony. So these are all the symbolisms attached to Ganesh. We still have some more. So we have his wives who are Riddhi and Siddhi. Now Siddhi is basically perfection, and in anything that we do, or success. So basically being good at doing something is called Siddhi, being Siddh. That attribute we get from Ganesha. Now if we have supreme knowledge, if we have memory, if we have Siddhi, it's very easy to attain Riddhi, which is wealth, money, prosperity. And his two sons are Shubh and Labh. So Shubh is auspiciousness. So in an auspicious atmosphere, filled with right knowledge and with a perfection in whatever we do, we can attain Labh, which is Labh and Riddhi. So which is prosperity, profit, money, income, and a well-being of body as well as mind. So I feel the whole, the very being of Ganesha is has a beautiful meaning to it, and is not just just any idol that we pray to. Now, why do we pray to Lord Ganesha? So if we pray to him, we invoke all these qualities within us, and we basically can then attain Riddhi, Siddhi, Shubh and Labh. Now, there's another interesting story about Ganesha writing the Mahabharata. I don't know if you're aware, because most of the people definitely know that Ved Vyasji, the Rishi, wrote Mahabharata, but he was the one who dictated it. So he wanted someone who had very good writing skills, and he was suggested Ganpati. So he invoked Lord Ganpati and requested him, please write the Mahabharata for me. Now Ganpati had a condition. He said, okay, fine, I will write it for you, but you have to promise me that you are not going to stop, because the moment you stop, I will vanish. So Ved Vyasji was very smart. He thought maybe I can't keep up with the speed, and something happens. So he requested him that, okay, fine, but you have to understand everything that you write. So he bought some time for himself, and so Ganpati started writing the Mahabharata, and it's one of the longest texts in the world, and Ganpati ji wrote it. So apart from all the attributes that I just mentioned that we can get, or by praying to him, he is also connected in Vedic astrology to two planets, Mercury and Mars. So Mercury gives us attributes like good oratory skills, writing skills, financial acumen, business acumen, um, good communication skills, all of this, and good management skills. So, by praying to him, we make sure that our Mercury becomes strong and we gain all of these skills. And that's why you will find a strong Mercury in the horoscope of actors, media people, advertisement industry, and financial experts, and people with a good business skill. Then we come to Mars. So there's another group of this group of Ganesh, which is attached to Mercury, is prayed to uh, in on Wednesdays. So Wednesday is his day assigned to him in the week. And then we talk about the Mangal Roop of him. This Mangal Roop is connected to Mars planet. It is related to protection, and it's more red in color. So if you see the Siddhi Vinayak in Mumbai, which is such a famous temple, that is the Mangal Roop of Ganpati, and that is connected to protecting us. There is an interesting temple of Ganpati that I'd like to share with you today, and especially because we spoke about him being the obstacle remover or the Vignaharta. So in Ranthambore, there's a very interesting temple where a lot of people send their first marriage card. And this they do to make sure that there is no obstacle, no problem in the marriage being held in their family. I had also sent the cards of both my daughters to this temple. I visited this temple and found it very enticing because you find cards filled sacks and sacks of cards lying, and now in fact they have a computer, so they even receive e-cards. So very modernized temple, I must say, and there are lots of mice all around. So if you're in that vicinity, if you want to visit the safari in Ranthambore, try and visit the temple. It's an interesting visit. Now let's talk about, last but not the least, let's talk about Ganesh Chaturthi. So Ganesh Chaturthi is the fourth day of the moon in any month. So every month we get it, but this one, which comes in the month of Bhadrapad of the Hindu calendar, is a special one. This is the day he was supposed to have been born. Like I explained to you earlier, how Parvati ji put all that uptan on her, or body scrub, and then made a little doll, put life into it. And this place is there on your trip. If you go to Kailash Mansarovar or if you go to Kedarnath, both places, on the way to the shrine, there's a place called Gauri Kund. And supposedly, I've been to the Gauri Kund in Kailash, and it's a belief that that's where she comes for a bath, and that's where she made little Ganesh. So on this day, then this festival lasts for 10 days, right up to Shraddh, and it's going on currently, and it's there till 2nd. It's specially special to pray to Lord Ganesha. Of course, you can pray to him the entire year, but this one has its own relevance. Many people pray to the idol in the house. Some go to the pandals to pray, especially in Maharashtra, where it was made so popular by Shivaji, and then the Peshwa, the Peshwas after him made it even more popular, this festival. And that's why in Maharashtra it's very, very popular. And some then bring Ganpati home. So you can bring Ganpati home for, in case you're interested, next year, you can bring him home on Ganesh Chaturthi. You can keep him for 1.5 days. You can keep him for 3 days. You can keep him for 5, 7, and the last is 10 days. Like I bring him for 10 days. And the Visurgin happens just a day before Shraddh. So when you bring him home, you're treating him almost like a guest at home. You feed him, you do his aarti, do his puja, you decorate him with flowers, you offer him durva, and you take good care of him. And it's a very happy occasion because you've got someone home and you're taking care of him. There's a kind of an utsaha in the house. The modak is a special treat that he loves, but you can offer him anything. And you can offering durva. So let's talk about what is durva. Durva is a very interesting, grass which is offered to Ganpati, and it has its own relevance. So you can look up durva online to see how it looks like, so that you can find it. You can find it in the grass that grows in the lawn, and but you must give a tender one. You must pick one which has 3 leaflets or 5 leaflets. So the one with the 3 leaflets signifies Shiv Tattva, Parvati Tattva, and in the middle the Ganpati Tattva. And you can offer 21, you can offer 51, 101. You can take different names of Ganpati and offer it. Or you can just say Gam Ganapataye Namaha, a very easy chant, but very powerful. And you can start from the feet and go on and cover the entire idol. So in this way, you're invoking Ganpati to give his essence or his being to you, to pass on that subtle energy. Durga passes on that subtle vibration at the super conscious level, and you invoke that, and you pray to Ganpati to receive that. Though it looks very tiny, it looks just like a grass, but it has a very powerful meaning. And it's also called the Durvankara. The one with the 3 leaflets is called Durvankara. And I felt that Durvankara, many people would know about. They would know about Modak. That's why I thought I'll speak about it. Then you can even offer 108 Modak. You can take 108 names of Ganpati. Now let's talk about this mantra Om Gam Ganapati. Suppose you can't do any of the rituals, you can always chant his name. And the easiest is this Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om, as we spoke in my last video, has to do with the universal sound. It's been proven. It activates our Mooladhara chakra, then our heart chakra, and then our Agya chakra right here. So it starts from the navel, comes to the heart, and then here. So our entire body is vibrating if we take Om properly. And Gam is the Bij mantra of Ganpati, so it's very powerful. It also means universal knowledge. And then Ganapataye is basically Gano ke Pati, whom we pray to. And Nama means we salute you or we pray to you. And so Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You can say it any number of times. I would suggest at least 108 times. Taking a mala, it's not going to take too long. You can use a Rudraksh mala. You can sit in one place after your shower and do it. And you still have a few days left to go till the 2nd. So maybe you can make use of it. So I think I've spoken quite a bit about Ganpati. Now I'll request you all to ask questions if you all have any. And I'll again like to thank Arna and Wonder Women Connect for having me on this platform. I'm sorry I was a bit late today. Let's see if you all have some questions. I'd love to answer.